crushing the Ponziani opening as black. This is the topic of today's GM talks. I'm gonna give you a complete repertoire for black against the Ponziani opening. It's a variation or opening that's very popular in blitz chess on the internet, and because of a lot of YouTubers are recommending the Ponziani and showing a lot of traps, and you can easily fall into a lot of these traps. So let's get into it. This line is recommended to me by in two books. I can show you here. One of them is The Open Games with Black by Martin Lokander. It's kind of an old book, but he does proper work. It's a very good book. Got a lot of great ideas and analysis. And the other one is Playing E4, E5 by my second, Nicolas Nichilis, or Nikos as I call him, who's a great analyst and correspondence title holder, and he does pretty good work in the opening. Is known for this, works with several grandmasters, and basically know his stuff, and he gives good analysis. He knows how to use these cloud engines and things like that. So let's see how this all comes about. In this position, we start from the beginning. You're black, and we expect you're an e5 player. And here, the main moves for white are something like bishop c4, the Italian game is very popular. Bishop b5, the Ray Lopez or Spanish opening. d4, the Scotch, or knight c3, the four knights, and you can use the Scottish four knight or Spanish four knights and things like that. But this is about c3, and this is the Ponziani, and white's idea is pretty clear. He wants to build a strong center with d4. Having e4 and d4 is great for white. The problem for white is that he's not very well developed. So starting building a strong center with just one knight into the game is maybe not so easy. And black easily starts attacking white's center. He might even consider f5, but the main moves are d5, which is a reasonable move, and knight f6, which we're going to look at here. With knight f6, we develop a knight and follow the rule knights before bishops, because generally with black you want to put your knight on f6 and c6, and you know where they're going, but bishops are not so easy, and at the same time you attack this pawn. Okay, and whites could play d3, but that's rather passive. It leads to some sort of a Philidor in reverse, but the main move is of course d4, setting up the center, attacking e5. Black could take, but then white will go e5, and this is probably slightly better for white. So we follow through. Taking a central pawn is always good. White's idea is to go d5. If he takes e5, something like this, then we get a Petrov with the weird c3, and here just bishop c5 is probably already very good for black. So this makes no sense. So d5, and the main line here is knight e7, and if you look at YouTube, you will see that this is featured in many games and many videos. But we want to go bishop c5, sacrificing the knight on c6. You can take the knight, right? But at the same time, blacks get to attack f2. And if you count the pieces, you can see that black already have 3 pieces into the game. He's ready to castle, and white is undeveloped. And of course, he will get the knight, but he will also have his king sailing around in the center. He takes, and we take with the bishop. Very important to take with the bishop. Getting the king out, making chaos into white's position. The king is really badly placed on e2. And then we just go back. This is the idea of the line. Black is threatening knight f2. He's got 2 pawns, 2 central pawns, and a lead in development for the piece. Question is that enough? And I'm sure it is. I'm sure this line is very hard for white to equalize in this line. And already in this position, if white sort of gets scared and plays something like bishop e3, we just take here. And we count the pawns and the pieces, and we see that black's gotten already 3 pawns. 3 pawns, 3 central pawns for the piece. And he's ahead in development, and white's king is sailing around. So this is already a clear advantage for black. Clear advantage for black. Okay, so white simply has to go into complications with queen d5. Getting the queen into and trying to disturb black. The best move here for black is knight f2, so this is what we will do. White now have several options. If he takes here, black simply goes here, and this file is a disaster for white. It will eventually come out, and there's already threatening some knight g4. D takes, black will probably take here with the pawn, maybe even with this, and bishop a6 coming, and this position is a total disaster for white. And he scored horribly from this position. So he doesn't do this. Well, there was some game like this, and this position is simply, and here black wins with c5. And we can see that this, you cannot have a position like this with white. It's simply not possible to survive with the king and the queen here. Okay, let's go back. So queen takes e5 is not a good idea for white. The most normal move is rook g1, and we will take that later. We will start with bishop e3, and again, white is a little bit scared. This was played in Efimov against Brunello in France in 2019. That is 2 GMs, so kind of funny. And he takes here, and this of course is white's idea that he will get 2 pieces for the rook, which in normal circumstances you prefer to have 2 pieces, but here with the king sailing around and all the open files and the central pawns, you prefer the rook. And actually white is already in serious trouble here. The game went like this, and this is actually a very good display of how black should play this position. Don't exchange queens, just get ready to rumble with the pawns, something like this, and the queen comes in like a one-man or one-woman army. Goes like this, and here, even though the knight is bad here, the central pawns and the rooks and the king, bad king position is just too much. Even this pawn is what to do about it. It's not so easy. And well, this is how it all finished. And check, and white gave up. He's losing a lot of extra material from this position. So bishop e3 is not good. Rook d1 or c takes b7 are the main moves. We'll take this first. Again, giving away the rook. You have to take it. And again, these kind of positions are good for black, even though you see that, of course, this knight down here is bad, but we have all these pawns getting ready to roll forward. We have, of course, a very important feature. We have the king standing here, and what is it doing out there? Just all alone in the world. Rook b8, queen a6, castle, and very simple. Don't lose a pawn here. Now here with queen e6, just king h8, and this position is a total disaster for white. The king will never survive. You can play c6 and d5. Even if you will get the knight here, we will get the pawns rolling, and the king will be very bad. it finished like this. This was Csonka Mikrut from I think the Slovakian league in 2020. You will find it in the notes. Takes, and something like this, and now it's all over. This square is a big problem, and the king here, of course, is sailing away, and you will never get the knight coordinated. So it went like this, and already, yeah. Well, we can see the finish, but it's not important anymore. Boom, and if you take that, it's checkmate. But even this is this makes no sense. So he gave it up. You can follow like this kind of funny checkmate. Oops, that was the wrong square. This is the right square. Checkmate, yeah. Anyway, that was not the best line for white, but this is a typical variation from this line. Okay, rook d1, saving the rook. This is what you should do. And black is playing like, well, he doesn't care. He just castles, saying, okay, I have a lead in development. My king is safe. Your king is sailing around. And I will get an attack. I will get my pawns rolling. You cannot take the pawns because that will open files for my rooks, or lines, or what's called. And here there are two lines. One is bishop d5, and you can go queen e8, or you can take on c6, and both of them are good for black. I think this is looks most like our main line, but this is also good, and this ending is kind of bad for white after something like this. And a very strong Russian grandmaster just got killed in an ending where the finished position was this, which is kind of a funny place where you just see that the pawns are just gonna roll all over him, getting totally suffocated in pawns like this. Kind of a little bit humiliating. So bishop d5 is not the move. No, the greedy c takes b7 is the way to go. And it may look complicated, and if you don't like to sacrifice material, you should of course not play this this line. But if you do, I can assure you that this position is absolutely fine for black. If we look at it here, we see that the main feature of the position is the king. There is also a very strong bishop here, and a very annoying knight that takes away squares here. I'll also do them. And there's of course the potential to roll with the pawns and get the rooks into the game. Something like this. And basically white doesn't have a good plan, and it's not easy to defend. But he does have two pieces for two pawns. So it's unclear. In this position, there are many moves. I think the two best moves, and we're only going to look at those, are queen d5 and knight a3. And we will start with knight a3, and black goes forward with e4. And you have, and the good news for white is that he already got two pieces, so he can give one back and still be up one piece. This is a nice thing. And you get also, this is another feature of the position, the queen often get kicked around, and this position is more or less forced. Rook takes and king d2, and in this position white black has to unfortunately do this, and I think black is better here. He's getting one more pawn back, and got a rook and two pawns for two light pieces. The white king is almost safe now, so this is not as big as a feature of the position, but the rooks are good, and the h pawn will be strong. The main line, according to computers, is this, and I think that here black with the obvious plan of h4, h5 here, and two rooks on the open files should be better, but materially it's equal. The computer tend to favor black slightly, but computers are materialistic and they kind of like rooks on open files too much. But I think black, you can play this with confidence, especially since you can blitz it out in seconds, and white will be probably be thinking for ages to just reach this position. So this was knight a3, e4. Queen d5 was also played, and is another line, and black goes c6, and the idea of course is to push the pawns forward. In a blitz game with the very strong Russian grandmaster Lysyj, white here played queen takes d7, and this actually loses. Lysyj played knight e4 and lost the game after, I think, bishop e3 or something. But here simply queen d6 wins more or less on the spot. There is this very, very unpleasant threat, and I don't see any. Also, the rooks are coming. And this guy down here is in trouble. So this is winning for black. Instead of taking, he has to go back. And we'll play e4 and e3. And this is... and you can't take the pawn because there's a rook coming. Here and here. No matter what you do, if you take it, and if you take with the king, you even get mated. So you have to move the queen, and rook is coming here. And this is analysis by Nikos, and here he says that that black is having good compensation, and I'm sure he's right. There are some ideas. There is what's this idea? And getting this knight away, and then there's this square down here. There is also and basically white is very uncoordinated, and this king here is not having an easy time. I think white is in trouble here, but he does have a lot of material, so he does get out. He will probably have a good position. Also, if the king moves, then probably the pawn will move further forward. Just kamikaze pawn rolling up the hill here. So I think this position is good for black, and definitely interesting. And I don't think this was what white wanted when he played 3c3 and planned a lot of tricks. So this was our repertoire against the Ponziani. I will just recap it quickly. e5, c3, knight f6, and d5, bishop c5, attacking f2, and all this is forced. And here, this is very important moment. Remember to play this move. And after this, white's only decent move is queen d5, and we go knight f2. And this position is very interesting. I'm sure black has excellent compensation here, and it's fun to play, and I wouldn't like to be white with the king circling about. And I'm curious what the YouTubers will say about this, who recommends the Ponziani, because this is critical stuff for sure. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I will also look forward to, if you like this kind of video about openings, very specific openings and ideas, please let me know so I can do more of them. This was GM Talks. Thank you for watching.